Hello, welcome to Noise Control and its management. Today is the third day of the ongoing week, and what we plan to do today is introduce the concept of standard bands. And the reason I'm going to talk about standard bands before I start working on how to figure out calculating the value of LP is that a lot of times our noise data is reported in terms of these standard bands. So over last 2 weeks what we have been doing is we have developed a relation between LP and LW for inside the room situation and outside the room situation, and using that relation I can calculate the value of LP, sound pressure level, if we know the value of LW, which is the sound power level. But to figure out the sound power level we have to understand this concept of standard octave bands, because a lot of times the data, whenever we calculate LW, it is calculated for these specific bands. So that's what we will discuss today, and then starting tomorrow we will start talking in detail about how to calculate sound power levels for different situations. So the theme for today would be standard octave bands. So way back in this course we had defined what is an octave. So a band of frequencies where the upper limit and the lower limit are off by a factor of 2, that is an octave. So an example of octave could be 2 hertz to 4 hertz. This is an octave. Another example could be 330 hertz to 660 hertz, or you can have square root of 2 hertz to twice of that. So the point what I am trying to make is that as long as the ratio of upper frequency limit and the lower frequency limit is 2, it is an octave. But in engineering situations, whenever we report our results or share our data, we do not represent them in any arbitrary octaves. Rather, we use some industry standard octaves. So what are those octaves? So we will discuss standard octaves. Each octave band has 3 parameters. The first parameter is upper frequency limit. Okay. So this we designate as F subscript U, and U standing for upper frequency limit. Then it has a lower frequency limit, and that is designated as FL, and then it has a central frequency, and there is a mathematical relation between all these 3 parameters. So this central frequency is designated as FC. So Fu divided by Fl is 2, as an octave should be. But then what about the central frequency? It is not the arithmetic mean of Fu and Fl, rather it is a geometric mean. So Fc equals square root of Fu times Fl. This is the other relation, and then because of this we can also write that Fu equals Fc times square root of 2 and FL equals FC divided by square root of 2. So, these are the ratios. So, every octave band has a upper frequency limit, a lower frequency limit and a central frequency, and the central frequency is off by the upper by a factor of 2, square root of 2, and it is off by the lower one by also a factor of square root of 2. So, with this context in mind, let us see what are the industry standard octave bands. So, I am going to show you a slide where some of these bands are listed. Not all the bands are listed, some of them. So, this is the central frequency for different octave bands. So, one octave band has a central frequency of 1, then the next band has a central frequency of 2, then 4, 8, 16, 31.5 and so on and so forth. And this band has an lower frequency limit of square root of 1 divided by square root of 2. So, that is 0.7 and you multiply it by square root of 2, you get 1.4. Same thing here. Now, interesting thing to note is that when you go from 16, you multiply it by 2, you get 32, but the industry says no, we do not like 32, rather we will like to use 31.5. Okay. So, the central frequency 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, they are all industry standard central frequencies, but the next central industry standard central frequency is 31.5 hertz, not 32 hertz. Why? We will see that later, because when you multiply 31.5 by 2, you get 63, and then you multiply it again by 2, you should get 126, but rather we use 125 because we want to end up at 1000. Okay. So, this is one variation 31.5. If you just multiply it by factor of 2, you won't get 31.5, and then the next variation is 125, and then again you go 250, 500, 1000, and then you again go further, then you will get 2000, 4000, 8000, 16000, but then the next one will be not 32,000 but 31,500 and so on and so forth. So, this cycle keeps on getting repeated. So, these are the industry standard octave bands. So, this is important to understand. Now, a lot of times the gap between octave bands may be too large. For instance, the gap between 500 and 1000, it is 500 hertz wide band. So, some people want to have finer results, they do not want to just have a point data at 500 hertz and the next data point at 1000 hertz. They also want to have some 2-3 points in between. So, with that requirement, lot of times people use octave bands, but if people need more points on their graphs, then they use 1/3 octave bands. They use 1/3 octave bands. So, what are these octave bands? Here also the ratios are constant. So, just give me a moment. So, we have discussed what are octave bands. Now, we are discussing what are 1/3 octave bands. So, 1/3 octave bands, and these are also. So, first we will discuss in general and then we will talk about industry standard 1/3 octave bands. So, here, so once again each of these octave bands has an upper frequency limit, a lower frequency limit and a central frequency. And what is the mathematical relation? F u divided by F L equals cube root of 2. Okay, it is cube root of 2. And if you do the math, it comes to 1.259921. So, that is typically the ratio, but it is not exactly that all the time. And then your central frequency is still the geometric mean. So, it is Fu times Fl, square root of that. So, it is not an arithmetic mean of the top and the lower thing. And then Fu equals 2 to the power of 1 over 6 times central frequency, and the lower frequency is Fc divided by 2 to the power of 1 by 6. Okay. So, if we want to use some industry standard octave bands or 1/3 octave bands, this is how we. So, what we will do is we will list the central frequencies Fc. Okay. So, let us say we start from 1 hertz, then the next central frequency will be 1 times this factor 1.2559. Okay. Then I multiply again. So, this is the first one, then this is the second one, then I have 1.5874, and then if I multiply 1.5874 by this factor, I get 2. Then I get 2.5198. So, I am just multiplying every time by 1.259921. Then I get 3.1748, and then I get 4, and so on and so forth. So, what is this? Okay. So, this is off by a factor of 2 to the power of 1 by 3, again 2 to the power of 1 by 3. Now, these are all central frequencies. For each octave band, if I have to compute its lower and upper frequency limit, I have to multiply and divide by 2 to the power of 1 by 6. Okay. So, these, but then if you look at, so these, all these successive ones are off by a factor of 2 to the power of 1 by 3. And then if you look at every third central frequency, it is off by a factor of 2. Okay. So, this is how it works out. Now, let us look at an interesting slide. We will look at this slide patiently. So, the first, so what does this say? It says values of central frequencies for different bands using 2 different methods. And what are those 2 methods? We will talk about it in a while. And then there is this number called n. We are not going to discuss this number n right now. Okay. But first, let us look at this red row. Okay. So, what do we have? Let us say we start with 100 hertz, we multiply it by 2 to the power of 1 by 3, we get 126 or 125.99, then we get this, then we get 200, and then we get 400, and then we get 800, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, this is one method of computing the central frequencies. This is one method of computing the central frequencies. Now, let us do some mathematics in slightly different way. So, what we are doing is we are starting with 100 and we multiply 100 by this factor 10 to the power of n by 10, and this n in this case is 20. Okay. So, if you do this math, you get 125.89. Then you again multiply this 100 by 10 to the power of 22 by 10, you get this number 158.49, and then you get 199.53, and so on and so forth. Now, when you look at compare these two numbers, of course, this is exactly the same. This is slightly off. This is again, so these numbers are very close to each other. It just happens like that. It is not that there was some, it just happens that these numbers are pretty close to each other. Okay. So, and the good thing or the interesting thing about this is that each time you increase n by 10, you end up with a factor of 10. Okay. So, if you go from 20 to 30, I have increased n by 10 and I end up at 1000 hertz. So, I am starting from 100 hertz and I end up at 1000 hertz. Again I increase it by 10, I end up at 10,000 hertz. So instead of using this, people use this in the industry to compute central frequencies, because this is a repeatable, it is a cyclical thing, and the intermediate frequencies are pretty close. They are pretty close to this 2 to the power of 1 by 3 factor method. Okay. So this is what people tend to use, and this n is known as band number. So this is the industry standard band number. So someone asks you, what is the central frequency of 15th octave band? So if the question is what is the central frequency of 15th band, then how will you compute it? You just do this 10 to the power of 15 by 10 is equal to 10 to the power of 1.5, and you do the math. I think it will come out to be 31.6 hertz. Okay. So the moment someone says the band number, you can calculate using this relation, the central frequency, okay, and then you multiply and divide it by 2 to the power of 1 by 6, you get its upper and lower frequency limits. And so this is how central frequencies according to international standards are computed. They are computed using this band number method. And if people are not interested in wondering about the second place of decimal, then they just round it. So the nominal values of 100, 125, 160, 200, 250, 350 and so on and so forth. Okay. But this method, it gives us the band, it uses band number to compute the central frequencies of different octave bands. And then let us look at finally this. So this is what I wanted to say, that central frequency is nothing but 10 to the power of band number divided by 10. This is how central frequency for any 1/3 octave band can be computed. This is for 1/3 octave band. But each time you skip 3 bands, you end up with an octave, right? So what we'll do is we'll close this discussion on octave bands by looking at this chart, and here I have computed using band numbers different central frequencies. So I have started from 1 and I have gone till 20. So band number 1, it corresponds to central frequency of 1.25 hertz, and it has a higher frequency limit and a lower frequency limit. Lower is 1.12. How did I get that? It is 1.25 divided by 2 to the power of 1 by 6. Okay. So here FL is FC divided by 2 to the power of 1 by 6, and FU equals FC times 2 to the power of 1 by 6. Okay. So for these different band numbers which I have calculated, and FC is what? 10 to the power of band number divided by 10. So first I have calculated different band central frequencies. From that I have used these relations to compute upper and lower frequency limits, and then I see that each time my band number increases, it goes from 1 to 3, it increases by 3, I get a factor of 2. Okay. So 3, 6, 9, of course it should not be here, oops. This should come from 0. Okay. If band number is 0, then it starts with 1. Okay. So this is how this goes, and band number of 20, I end up with 100 hertz. Band number of 10, I end up with 10 hertz. At 20, 100 hertz. Band number of 30, I end with 1000 hertz. 40, 10,000 hertz, and so on and so forth. Okay. So these are industry standard 1/3 octave bands and industry standard octave bands. So this closes our discussion on octave bands and also the discussion for today. Starting tomorrow, we will start exploring different systems which generate sound, and for those different systems we will start figuring out how to compute sound pressure levels or sound power levels for different systems. So with that we close the discussion for today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.